Have you ever recommended a product to a friend, shared a brand's post on social media? Okay, what about leaving an online review? Of course you have, but I don't think you realize how much power you actually have. Of all the studies out there, the main takeaway is this: at least half of consumers read reviews before buying a product. This means that people trust strangers, people they have never met before, more than advertising. I'm talking word of mouth, baby, and how using it as an advertising technique can be extremely effective for building bonds with your prospects. So, because people trust strangers and peers more than advertising, that means by default, people do not trust your brand. It's not your fault though, because trust is earned and not given. Fact: 90% of consumers trust their peers more than advertising. You should be using this to your advantage. Let your consumers do the marketing for you. And now, thanks to social media, there are now endless opportunities to make an impact on your prospects. The best part is, your consumers will be the vessel in which trust is earned for your brand. You get to start the conversation, you get to ask the first question, and you get to set the tone. There are countless ways that you can implement word of mouth into your marketing mix. So by now you're probably like, all right, Dylan, I'm sold. Just tell me how I can use it already. Okay. But before I give you the secret formula, I need to warn you about something. This strategy is not perfect. It has lots of flaws. And you need to know what they are in order to maximize the effectiveness of a word of mouth campaign. Number one, it can take a long time. Word of mouth is best used for brand awareness rather than short-term strategies. Number two, you can lose control of your message. If your message is weak, people will be able to manipulate it and spread misinformation about your brand. Number three, it is difficult to target your message. You can decide who you tell initially, but you cannot control who they tell. And number four, it is pretty difficult to measure. There is no metric that accurately represents the ROI on word of mouth. No matter how well you execute your strategy, if your message is weak, the whole thing will fail. Your message has to speak to the customer in the language of the customer about what matters to the customer. It has to be something worth talking about. Otherwise, nobody is going to share it. There are many ways you can implement word of mouth into your marketing strategy, and oftentimes, word of mouth requires no words at all. I know, a little counterintuitive, right? If you were to share a photo of your Starbucks drink on Instagram, you are showing people that you endorse that product, that it is not only worth buying, but that I should buy it too. And this is conveyed by saying 0 words. I should note that the foundation of which your campaign is built upon will determine its success. This means stay true to what your brand believes in and what motivates it. Dishonesty is never tolerated in a word of mouth campaign. The reason is, you would never recommend a bad product to a friend. A fantastic example of a brand that utilizes word of mouth is Fashion Nova. The biggest reason they are as big as they are today is because of their word of mouth strategy on Instagram. There are 2 things at play that make their strategy as successful as it was. The first part is paying influencers to post photos of themselves wearing Fashion Nova clothes. This gives Fashion Nova access to millions upon millions of followers. The second part of their strategy is to encourage their customers to do the same. It seems simple, right? But let me tell you, there's much more at play here than just social media posts. Nowadays, people look up to celebrities way more than they did in the past. It has never become so easy to compare yourself to a celebrity, and people do it consciously and unconsciously. People want to dress like, act like, and talk like celebrities. Even if people aren't wealthy, they want to at least look like they are. Fashion Nova saw this as a golden opportunity. By paying models and celebrities, they influenced tons of people to buy their clothes so they can look just like the celebrities. But how they get ordinary people to share photos of them wearing Fashion Nova clothes is a completely different story. Fashion Nova's brand account reposts user-generated content. This motivates almost all of Fashion Nova customers to share photos of themselves wearing Fashion Nova clothes, which in turn tells their audience that they're happy with their purchase and that you should buy it as well. All for a chance to be featured on the brand account of Fashion Nova. Essentially, they used the big players to get to the small ones, and then the small players shared amongst their circles. It's genius. So if you think you can implement word-of-mouth marketing into your marketing mix, I say go for it. It doesn't hurt to have more people trust and know about your brand. Thank you.